Welcome to Digital for Culture with our guests Mook and Miena. We will be touching up on the trip that Mook and Miena had at Peru and the type of culture they saw. They will be able to give us details on what they were able to study and how it went. But first, here's a message from our sponsor.
The 24-hour Lifeline Pass by Ms. Risborough is an amazing tool if you're struggling to get an assignment done or you need extra time. There are multiple ways of earning this pass, most of which are review games or even this podcast. The pass can be used on any assignment. If you have a sports activity or something you know that you can't get this done in time, make sure you talk to Ms. Risborough to get extra time.
So, how was the trip and what did you guys see?
It was very fun. We saw a lot of differences between what we do here in America and what they do in Peru.
I had fun too, and the food was one of the best parts of visiting.
Cool. I would really want to know how good it was.
The food was a big difference from what we have here in America and what they have in Peru. The food that they have are all traditional foods from their ancestors.
A dish they had was something called koi chactaro. It is fried guinea pig, and it was super good.
Peruvians also cook their food traditionally and not with a stove. We tried a dish called pachaca.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of it before. Pachamanca.
It was really traditional, and they said it has been a dish from pre-Columbian times. We got to see how they made it, and they had this big pile of rocks on the ground like a pot, and they made a fire and cooked the food within the rocks on top of them. It was pretty cool experience and very amazing that they have kept that dish for years.
I've heard that they have some entertaining native music and dances. Did you guys get to experience any of it?
Yeah, we did get to experience the entertainment and the native music and dances of their culture.
And how was the experience of seeing how invested they were doing these dances and the music they had?
It was pretty interesting, and the way that they dressed was very exotic, and the music was very heartfelt and powerful because of how passionate they were.
Wow, that is amazing and probably cool to watch.
Yeah, we were able to participate in trying a traditional dance they called the Washin Tusuk. It was pretty fun because it was really difficult and we just looked like we were zombies dancing, getting tossed around like puppets.
Man, I would have just given up and not embarrassed myself more than I already would have if I tried it.
Yeah, it was fun and a pretty cool experience.
What difficulties did you guys have in that country?
We didn't have much difficulties, but one of them was the language barrier we had with some of the Peruvians there.
It was hard to understand some of them because some of them spoke Spanish and we understood that, but others spoke a different language we did not understand. We were able to get a translator for help.
We later asked the translator what language the other people were speaking who didn't speak Spanish, and they told us they have two different native tongue and that originated from their ancestors, and it was a personal language they spoke to each other.
What were their native languages called, and did you learn any?
We found out a bit about their native languages are called Quechua and Aymara. We were able to learn a little bit.
We learned how to say "How are you" in Quechua, and it was pronounced "I-E-Anchu," but it was spelled as Allianchu.
That is a very confusing language. That might just be too hard to understand for someone as bright as me.
After we taught how to speak Peruvian native language, the translator invited us to a festival.
We went thinking that it was just going to be a town festival. Nothing too big, but man, when we got there, there were more than what looked like 20,000 people there.
It was packed to where there was no personal space. It was a fun experience and once in a lifetime. Later, After the festival, we learned that 400,000 people were there, and it was the most recorded festival attendance ever.
That sounds like a lot of fun. I probably would have been there for hours having too much fun.
We also asked a Peruvian if they have festivals regularly. They said that they have about more than 3,000 folk festivals and 1,000 music festivals year after year in each country.
We also learned that some of the festivals are for religious events and that 80% of Peru are Catholic. And the others have different beliefs, and their ancestors they still follow what their ancestors believed in religiously. We heard that the Catholic religion has grown over the past years and hasn't always been a popular religion in the past.
They also have many very religious attraction spots around their country, and they value everything so much that if you touch anything at the attractions, you can go to jail.
Speaking of that, how different is their government from ours?
They actually don't have much in common with the type of government we have here in America. They have more of a Republican ran government, and their president can run for 5 years, but only for one term.
And unlike our government, we only have they have two vice presidents. Peru is not very similar to our government in America, and they run their country differently. Their political priorities are different to our political priorities in America.
Speaking of priorities, what is their main priorities in their culture?
One of the main priorities they have in their culture is their family. They like to put their family interests before theirs.
We were able to meet a Peruvian family and see how much family is a priority in their culture.
When we got there, the parents made sure the kids had all of their food and eating before they served themselves.
It is something you don't see much in families in America as much. And we were told by the translator that the parents said that they have not ate all day and waited until the kids were fully served before they provided themselves. And they have 5 children.
We also learned that average Peruvian families have 4 to 5 children.
That is crazy and very interesting. What was it like inside a Peruvian house, and what were their customs?
It was very cool, and you had to be very respectful. You had to be very respectful to each family member.
You can't just go in and act like it is your house. You are supposed to shake hands with the men and give hugs and kisses to the women. Throughout the day, we noticed that one of the traditions was to cover up and not to show a lot of skin.
Sounds very different to what we are allowed to do here in America. Thanks for all the information that you were able to share with me on your trip to Peru. I had a great time with you guys, and we learned a lot more than I knew.
Thanks for having us.
Well, this is Digital for Culture, and see you guys next time.